How and why did the teaming with Larry Smith end up happening, and how did that get going?
Well, Jalil pulled Larry Smith to the side, I think, at the Fever one night, club called Disco Fever back in the days, and they were speaking about doing some recording. He kept, yo, Larry, I need you to do this album. And Larry said, I got to finish with Running them. And, you know, it was a little hesitation, but next thing you know, Larry said, all right, I'm with it. Let's go. And that's when it went from there. And Larry, to me today, never got the credit that he deserved. Larry Smith was like Quincy Jones when it come to rap.
I agree because, like you said, and as I've talked about with Dane and Daryl Pierce from LA Posse and a lot of other people, like people underestimate the fact that it was melody, it was no samples, and that you
Mm-hmm.
guys had these big choruses that were very unusual at the time.
Yes,
And
yes.
and I think that enabled you guys, at least to me on the outside looking in, but I want to get your opinion. But I think that helped get you on the radio, get you in these videos because it was more traditional music format.
Yeah, you know why? Because the rappers back then were just making beats, but it sounded like they was making it in the basement. And once we came with that R&B, because radio wasn't touching it, they wasn't playing rap. I mean, HBI was playing rap. We give Mr. Magic the credit because he started it, and the Supreme Team. And right after that, WBLS, they used to play the instrumentals, you know, Friends or 5 Minutes of Funk. Then it got to that point where they said, let's start playing it. And we had Video Music Box bumping our videos, and that's when it was on. It was on.
And since it was so early, obviously, even though you're in the group, when you got shouted out in 5 Minutes of Funk, did that change things for you? Did people like look at you different or notice you more per se?
Yeah, you know, once I heard our record on the radio, I knew it was on. You know, the best feeling I ever had to hear your record on the radio. So that's when I knew we was on our way. And all the other radio stations started playing it. But they only play selected rap, selected groups, only certain ones. They say, like, you know, Whodini is R&B and hip hop. So we fit right in there. Just like on tour, you know, we did tours with Run-DMC and Curtis Blow and Fat Boys and Beastly Boys and Steps of Sonic. But we left that tour and we jumped on tour with Midnight Star, Charlemagne Climax. That's when I knew we can fit on an R&B tour and we could fit on a hip hop tour. Then we went to a New Edition tour. So we was known all over.
Right. Yeah. And I think too that the it's the music, man. It was so powerful. It's very powerful. Um, and I think too, one thing that I think that you guys are very underappreciated for as well, and this started with the first album, is the stories because they were these universal themes, but were done in such a specific way that it could appeal to everybody. But everybody, you know, it wasn't just a rap person. Like, you know, for me,
Yeah.
like Big Mouth, like as a little kid, I was like, man, I hated when people do that. But I'm, you know, I'm a little kid in Maryland and little white boy, but I could identify with that, you know? And that to me is what made it so interesting. But when you guys were in the studio and you would hear these stories that were coming up, even Rap Machine or Magic Swan or these different things, what did you look at from a song perspective that made you be like, man, what we're doing is different or special on the story side of things?
You know, when you see other groups come up to you and like, yo, what did y'all use to make that? You know, and you sound like this, y'all sound different. And it became that being different, we always wanted different. We wanted to make party records and dance songs, but we wanted hooks that, you know, to be in the songs. We didn't want it to be just straight talking about ourselves. You know, we wanted the storyline, you know, and Jalil was good for coming up and creating that. And we were the type of group your mother and father said, I don't really like that bebop stuff, but I do like Whodini. Yeah, you know, the freaks come out at night and all that, you know, they was with it.
Absolutely. And then what was the strategy on Escape for having the featuring Grandmaster Dee song?
Well, like I said, when they featured the Grandmaster Dee song, that's when I didn't go to Europe then. And Jalil said, well, D, I've been down since 82, 83. He said, I'm just going to make the instrumental name feature Grandmaster Dee. And Larry did it, you know.
Okay. Because I always thought that was a very intriguing thing on there.
Yeah, because I'll be wanting to get that cleared because recently they put up that I came to the group in 86. I was in there since 82, 83, you know?
Yeah. Thankfully, I didn't see that, but I would have scratched my head.
First Love said it. He sent it out.
Yeah. Strange. Okay. But I also think too the samples. So you guys have been sampled, you know, dozens, hundreds of times. So when you first started hearing your stuff getting sampled, was that something you expected, or was it just, you know, a shock?
It was shock to me. You know, I always said if somebody's gonna sample your song, I always said that they should give us a call. We can do it together. You know, we'll feel good to reach out and say, yeah, you knew we had a hit, but it add on, you get paid for it. So, you know, but I just always said if you're gonna do it, let's do it the right way. Everybody collaborate on it.
Right. Okay. And then at the end of the album, the We Are Whodini, where you guys are like shouting out Dr. Ice and Kango and everybody affiliated, I wanted you to explain like there's one thing I think rap is so competitive on the one hand, but then there's so much camaraderie and brotherhood at the same time. So for
Yeah.
you guys, what was that brotherhood or feeling that you had in that era to where you were bringing so many people to the table?
The main thing was we wanted to give a real show. So the real show was like, you know, when you talk about hip hop, you talk about graffiti, you talk about breakdancing, you talk about rapping, you know, and we added the breakdancers to the show. You know, just like when we first did the video Rap Machine, you saw them in the video and you saw them in the Freaks Come Out at Night video. And a lot of groups wasn't doing that at that time. So we was the first group with dancers. And after that, by next year, every group had 2 dancers or 3. So we, like we said, we set the trend. You know, everybody's following us. Like we said, you want to lead, you don't want to follow. So you want to be ahead of the game. So we look back and say, well, Salt and Pepper had dances. Everybody was doing the same thing, but we started it.
So also with Escape leading into Back in Black, these are going gold and platinum at a time when rappers aren't even having albums. They might have singles. So
yeah,
what compared to other people or just from your own experience, what did you notice about going gold or platinum, like the prestige you had, but that you also didn't get because you were rappers, I guess?
I would say, you know, at first you're out there, you're torn, you're feeling good, you got money in your pocket, you ain't really thinking about it till the record company give you the call and say, yo, congratulations, you won gold. And then by the time the Fresh came again, we got on tour. Next thing you know, within less than 30 days, we're platinum. I'm like, wow, platinum. And that was back then. You know, a lot of people today, they go platinum off of singles, but that was 1 million copies.
That's wild. Going platinum in 85, 86 is wild.
Yeah.
So with Back in Black, that was the first time on the cover of the album for you. So is that because, did you guys do all the photos for everything too in London, or what was going on?
No, we came back to the States. And when we was going Back in Black, we already made the records. And we had a photo session in New York City. And my publicist, Steve Manning, had said, yeah, well, let's put this together. Let's get D on the cover. And, you know, Jalil okayed it, and we all had a meeting, and they went with it. And that was one of the biggest moments of my career. You know, a lot of times the DJs just stay behind the scene and they don't get no spotlight. But I had the chance to record Funky Beat, and because, you know, at that time I was talking with Larry in the studio about the Grandmaster Dee had a record out. So I said, I want my own DJ record. Larry, let's do it. And Larry said, well, D, you start on the beat and I'll take it from there. And that was the magic right there. Then I got the chance to write my own rhyme and came out with that, and Funky Beat hit hard.
Yeah, I think that's the amazing thing about Escape and Back in Black back to back was the having 5 minutes of funk and Funky Beat just start off the album so powerfully. Those are two of my favorite starts to albums in rap history, man.
Back, and this story, probably never heard this story. Man, we were going back and forth, being Jalil, because and the record company, because Jalil said, no, I want to put One Love out. I said, man, let me tell you something. Run-DMC is coming out with that King of Rock. We got to drop Funky Beat. We got to come with something hard. And next thing you know, the record company said, okay, we'll go with it. And once it dropped, that was it. That was the ticket.
Yeah, and it showed your guys' versatility, because even though the albums didn't have so many songs, within the songs there was a lot of styles, sonically, stylistically, lyrically, subject matter wise. And I think that's also something that made Whodini, and still makes Whodini, so phenomenal, is that, you know, with 10 songs, give or take, you guys always were coming with so many different themes. So for you creatively and sonically, especially as a DJ and doing the shows, and unfortunately I did get to see you guys, you know, as a kid do a few shows, but I want you to explain like how you guys work to put your shows together, since you had so many different tempos and feels.
We owe it to New York. We had sound studios where we would rent out and go rehearse. We might book it for the whole week, and we would go in there and rehearse, and we'll cut songs in and out. You know, we had to know where to place it, song after song after song, because after we do One Love, you know, 5 minutes of funk is coming on. So we say we're lucky just to have just 1, 2, 3, 4, and I go boom, 5 minutes of funk, and they go crazy. So we started off mellow, like with friends, and then we pick it up. And once we get to the end of the show, we don't got y'all brought and sold. They said, Whodini rocked the house tonight, because we're going to give it to you every night. You know, energy, show full of energy.
Yeah, no, that's definitely a hallmark of you guys. And back to Funky Beat, with one thing that was great was during the shows how you would come out and rap. So what extra element did you notice that brought to the shows?
Oh man, greatest feeling in the world. You know, when they know my part is getting ready to come, the women is getting ready, and the crowd is getting, you know, the brothers too. They know I'm gonna come out to rap. So, you know, like I said earlier, most DJs, they barely get the spotlight. So now I get a chance to rap. I was to rap before I was a DJ. So soon I come, they be ready, and everybody's rocking side to side with me. You know, last Fresh Fest, I'm rocking Good Times. And this Fresh Fest, I'm busting out rhymes. And they singing it right along with me. And, you know, they shocked for a DJ to come up and get that spotlight. But every night, man, I should come out smiling.
Be sure to check out the History of Gangster Rap by Soren Baker. He's official.
History of Gangster Rap features exclusive interviews with Ice-T, Snoop Dogg, MC Ren, the D.O.C, and dozens of others. The History of Gangster Rap, a definitive look at how Los Angeles changed rap forever.
In Los Angeles, the streets definitely set the tone of the hip-hop music.
A 19, I got a $50,000 car.
My whole angle always was, I'll be street, but I will always tell you the horrors that go along with this life.
It will be penalties and casualties for just wearing the wrong color in somebody's neighborhood.
And once gangster rap made it from the streets to the TV, the genre exploded.
With Fab 5 on Yo MTV Raps with NWA.
Yo MTV, it just catapulted us from being local heroes to national gangbang rappers.
The history of gangster rap discusses it all from 1980 up till today.
It's always gonna be shit happening in the streets. You know what I mean? So it's always gonna be something to talk about.
The history of gangster rap in stores now.